Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into an absolutely epic origin story. Imagine a celestial being literally forged from stars, plummeting out of the cosmos onto a sentient, breathing planet, only to become its fiercest protector. It is this wild journey of brutal survival, architectural genius, and ancient prophecies suddenly coming to life.
So, what actually happens when a star falls into a forest packed with monsters and magic? Well, to put it into perspective, we aren't just talking about a simple meteorite impact here. We're talking about Lykaios. He's a being forged from lunar energy and the love of a primordial deity known as Aeon Celestria. While he's hurtling through the vastness of the cosmos, this unprecedented disturbance knocks him entirely off his cosmic course, and he plummets straight into the lush, sentient world of Yaenddarr, landing right in the middle of an environment that is just overflowing with lethal predators and profound, untamed magic.
Part 1. The Celestial Crash, a Starborn Arrival.
Our story kicks off with a massive, earth-shaking impact. Fearing the absolute destruction his cosmic momentum might cause to this living world, Lykaios intentionally shrinks his massive celestial form right before he hits. He crashes directly into Elysium Lake, deep at the heart of the Elysium Forest. But here's the thing, this isn't your ordinary water, it's Elysium. It's this glowing, iridescent liquid pulsing with potent fey essence. The moments he hits the surface, this incredible substance starts soothing and purifying his broken body. But survival comes with a pretty devastating trade-off, because those magical waters permanently strip away his immortal nature.
The physical transformation here is just wild. Think about it. He goes from being this boundless entity of immortal stardust with indigo skin veiled in living constellations to a completely grounded mortal humanoid. His cosmic form literally dissolves into the lake, leaving behind flesh and bone. For the very first time in his entire existence, he is completely vulnerable to the elements. For the first time, he can bleed.
Part 2. Survival in the Shadows. The hunt begins.
Literally, the second he drags himself out of that glowing lake, Lykaios is on the menu. The terror of his first week is absolute. On day 1, he barely survives the crash itself. By day 2, he's brutally ambushed by a creature known as Scar, this terrifying apex dire cat with a molten yellow eye, driven purely by malice. Bleeding and desperate, Lykaios retreats into a tiny, damp root-woven hollow, using glowing fungi to try and staunch the bleeding. It takes him until day 6, shivering in the mud, to realize that the forest floor completely belongs to Scar. So to survive, he has to look up. Using tusk scraps and bioluminescent vine cord, he painstakingly built his very first crude refuge high up in the protective canopy.
But, amidst the sheer brutality of that first week, Lykaios was never actually alone. A young Florian native named Yaenddarr had been silently watching him from the shadows since the exact moment he ripped through the sky. She watched him bleed, watched him learn to heal, and quietly left protective glyphs and lunar seeds for him to find. She was biding her time, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal herself.
Part 3. Allies in the Forest. The Prophecy Revealed.
And that pivotal moment, it arrives when a corrupted shadow scout, this terrifying hollow-eyed entity seeping in from the savage jungle, tracks Lykaios' lingering celestial energy and goes in for the kill. Yaenddarr finally steps out of the shadows, casting a fairy gate that literally slices open reality. She rescues him and pulls him deep into the hidden sanctuary of Sylvestra. This is where we meet the Florians. They are these peaceful architects and deep spiritualists. Born with beautiful bark-like skin and leaves for hair, they live in absolute symbiotic harmony with the forest's life force.
Now, you might think bringing a strange, stardust-marked boy into the village would cause a panic. But when Yaenddarr brings him to the village elder, Umok, he doesn't see a threat at all. His deep meditation breaks instantly. He falls to his knees in the dirt and recognizes Lykaios as the promised starborn of ancient prophecy. He's the child of the Aeon star that the sentient forest itself had literally been waiting centuries for.
Part 4. The Treehouse Revolution. Architecture of Survival.
Finding his true purpose among these incredibly welcoming people, Lykaios combines his innate celestial intuition with their incredible craftsmanship, and he essentially sparks a total revolution in how they live. He elevates the entire village from the vulnerable forest floor directly into the thick protective canopy. And we're not talking about crude wooden forts here. He designs these beautiful, living aerial structures. We're talking cradle nests spun from moss that actually responds to lullabies, observatory shells wide open to the night sky, and wind-guided chimneys scented with calming herbs. It is this brilliant symphony of shelters that seamlessly integrate with the ancient trees.
Lykaios acts as a massive cultural catalyst. When some of the traditional elders initially protest the move, claiming they have to live with the forest, not on top of it, Elder Umok shuts it down, telling them to live among it. The Florians aren't fleeing to the canopy out of panic. They are rising because they finally realize their own profound capabilities and their true harmony with nature.
Part 5. Defending the canopy, the feral escalation.
Okay, but of course, this newfound aerial peace doesn't last. The Feras, these savage, relentless predators from the ash-covered wildling field, launch a massive, coordinated assault, and these aren't normal beasts. They constantly resurrect in the Elysian lakes, returning angrier and stronger every single time. And even worse, they adapt. They rapidly evolve retractable, razor-sharp claws, so suddenly those ancient trees go from impenetrable walls to scaling ladders. The Florians are suddenly forced to fight a terrifying vertical war for the skies. Faced with this absolute climbing nightmare, Lykaios and Yaenddarr refuse to back down. Working together, they stitch resilience directly into the forest skin. They lay out this brilliant, lethal network of enchanted traps and wards. I mean, they engineer pit traps veiled by glowing moss runes, hanging snare vines laced with blinding spores, and even thorn launchers completely disguised as hanging ambient lanterns. It is an awe-inspiring combination of his tactical mind and her deep magical empathy for the forest.
Part 6. The Forest's New Guardian, Night of Bloomfire.
The feral siege is just relentless. Right as the traps reach their absolute breaking point and the canopy is nearly breached, salvation arrives from the sky. The royal fairy guard of the celestial sovereign descends like living wind. With weapons humming with radiant cosmic force, they absolutely shatter the feral attack, sending the monsters scattering in sheer panic. But they don't stay. They vanish right back into the dusk. And watching them leave triggers this huge emotional realization for Lykaios. He doesn't belong up in the sky anymore. He's no longer just a lost, fallen celestial boy. He is the grounded, deliberate guardian of Yaenddarr.
Ultimately, the Elysium Forest gets to celebrate their survival with a radiant night of bloomfire. But you know, the universe is incredibly vast, and this piece, it's pretty fragile. So as Lykaios continues to master his newfound celestial magic among the swaying treehouses, we have to ask, what ancient looming darkness will he be forced to face next? Because surviving the celestial fall and defeating that feral horde, well, that was just the beginning of a much larger cosmic war for the fate of this living world. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.